of head of government positions and 21.3% of cabinet positions. These numbers illustrate the huge disparities and highlight the urgent need for progress. In Africa, women occupy about 24% of parliamentary seats. I must say, the highest concentration being in the southern and eastern parts of Africa, where the figures stand around 31% and 32.4% respectively. However, even in these regions, the women, as with the rest of the continent, continue to face numerous barriers that hinder their full participation and contribution. By empowering women, promoting gender equality, and removing systemic barriers, we unlock a vast reservoir of talent, creativity, and leadership.
The African Prosperity Dialogue was outdoored in 2022 as a flagship event of the African Prosperity Network to serve as a common platform where African leaders convene yearly to deliberate actionable steps for creating prosperity through economic integration, especially under the African Free Trade Continental Area for all Africans and people of African descent.
Trasacco Estates, home to Accra's most beautiful and luxurious homes, presents its newest addition, Trasacco Springs, a premium master planned community of service plots surrounded by an exhaustive list of amenities. The gated community of Tema to Accra Motorway presents you the finest opportunity to own a land that suits your preferred size, budget, and payment terms. Trasacco Springs is open to you for development. Our on-site sales executives are ready. Call
In an interaction with the media, he further intimated that the German embassy is in partnership with the European Union, the Ministry of Education, the Youth Employment Agency, and the German Cooperation Implementation Agency to improve the STEM education in local schools in Ghana. After which, he acknowledged and introduced the International Siamese Foundation from Germany and their mission in Ghana.
As you are aware, Germany is a long-time partner in development cooperation with Ghana. We have the 3G focus areas, and one of them is growth for employment. And so it is about employability of the ambitious youth of this country. We have a strong partnership in the field of TVET. We just started a joint program with the European Union, the Ministry of Education and Employment, and our German Cooperation Implementation Agency, GIZ, 16 million in the field of vocational training. So German cooperation has been very active in the field of vocational training and skills development, and this is exactly why we ask you to join us here today. I'm very happy to welcome to the German residents the spokeswoman of the Siemens Stiftung from Munich, Dr. Nina Schmidt. If you ask me what is Siemens Stiftung doing, and you ask me to say it in one sentence, my answer is Siemens Stiftung is about convincing you that science is sexy. So it's about STEAM, how you call it here in Ghana. It's about getting young Ghanaians interested in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And they have a very, very interesting program. They are here in Ghana since a few years, and they are about to expand their presence and support more Ghanaian schools and teachers in getting young Ghanaians interested in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Spokesperson of the Managing Board of the International Siamese Foundation, Dr. Nina Schmidt, addressed the press on the leading-edge Siamese STEM education project in Ghana.
I would just like to talk a little bit about what we actually do at the Siemens Foundation, or the German word Stiftung. We work here with partners in Ghana, specifically in the field of education, with a focus on STEAM education, so the natural sciences, mathematics, engineering, but also combined with the aspects of creativity, so critical problem solving, design thinking methods, and using basically creativity and the arts also to teach STEAM education. We are working here with a number of partners, most prominently, of course, with the local schools. We are working with the government institutions here. We are working with the German Chamber of Commerce and a couple of other organizations who help us to actually implement these STEAM programs at the local school level. We believe that STEAM education really lies at the root of all these issues. And if we have teachers basically teaching students, teaching young people how to use the STEAM approach in a creative, in an innovative way, this makes all the difference for society. This makes all the difference for a country.
The event concluded with an exhibition in demonstrating to the media some prospective works that will be taught to the students who will be enrolled in the STEM education.
Speaking at the event, which was aimed at unlocking new financial and insurance opportunities for Volkswagen vehicles, Mr. Akkad called for a full implementation of the auto policy. According to him, Universal Motors Limited is not in Ghana to frustrate dealers in used cars, but rather to work with them in creating more jobs in Ghana.
There were benefits that we were having for that. Definitely, already the cars became more affordable when they were made in Ghana. Our sales have improved, but as I said, we were interrupted by the COVID pandemic. We were interrupted as well by the economic situation due to what's happening around the world, the inflation, due to what's happening around the world in terms of economic situation and the crisis around the world as well. But we did not yet achieve what we were targeting, but we are hoping that that has to come to that point of achieving those sales volumes. In terms of what we were supposed to have achieved, as I said, we have to implement the auto policy in full. The capacity of the first assembly plant that we had, we could build, let's say, about 5,000 cars. We sold about 1,000 cars. But don't forget, there was so many interruptions in terms of COVID. There was so many interruptions in terms of the economic situation worldwide. There is something called used cars. And the used cars that are brought into the country are not made for our country. They are not made for Ghana. We are not here to stop the used cars business. On the contrary, we are here to work together with them. The government here are not banning the used cars. They are limiting them to be roadworthy, to be safe on the road, not to bring any car that is not roadworthy or safe. There is no ban on used car, but there is limit of what kind of used car you can bring. They can become our dealers, and then in addition to that, they can sell used cars as well. We always extend our hand to them from the time we started. I did mention that we are here not to take all the business alone. We are here to share the business together, but let's do it the right way.
On his part, the Chief Executive Officer of Alliance Insurance Company Ghana Limited, Abubakar Diaw, believes the partnership will aid in easy access to insurance for the users of Volkswagen vehicles.
This initiative is to bring to the African market and in Ghana the best of the best. You know, we deserve the best. The best car assembled in Ghana, financing by a Ghanaian bank and insured by a Ghanaian company, because Allianz is in Ghana since 2009. Then we want to give the best of what we are doing everywhere else in the world to the Ghanaian customer and to the Ghanaian people. To make our product available to all Ghanaian, to be better known in the country, and as well to allow our partners to take benefits of our name, our brand. And I think VW, everybody knows about them, Access Bank as well. Then with the addition of Allianz, it will allow us to have to strengthen our image across the country.
The group head for retail banking at Access Bank, Matilda Asante Esiedu, also indicated that the partnership would help Ghanaians acquire their own means of transportation by making accessible loan policies to cushion people who want to patronize Volkswagen vehicles.
We're making it easy for Ghanaians to acquire their own means of transportation. We know that transportation is a very important part of our day-to-day expense, day-to-day activity, day-to-day business. And so what Access Bank, through this partnership with Universal Motors, VW and Allianz are doing, is to make it easy for Ghanaians who want to acquire their own vehicles, whether for personal or business use, to be able to do that. And how are we making that possible? First of all, we know that through government policy, there's VW manufacturing here in Ghana, so the vehicles are made here. Then the second thing is, how then are you able to afford or finance it? We know that not many Ghanaians can afford to take a sackload of money to a vehicle dealership and buy a vehicle. So we are providing a loan which you would pay over a 2-year, 3-year, 4-year, 5-year period according to your ability and according to your cash flows. So that's essentially what this partnership is. We have something we call the risk acceptance criteria. So before we give a customer a loan, the customer has to tick all those boxes. Make sure that the customer, first of all, has sufficient income, monthly income that they can use to repay monthly, that the income they have a buffer. We call something debt service ratio. It has to be about 40 to 50% of your net salary, so that you have that liberty to use some of your salary, but also to use the rest to reservice your loan. That, among other things, we look at. So we don't just give loans to anybody. We have a criterion for offering the loans, and we offer it to people who have a track record of monthly sustained income, whether they are salaried workers or they are small business owners or they are big business owners.
My blessings that would finance anybody or any business that walks into our building or through our digital platforms applying for a car. And VW is saying that once you get that financing, I am here and I give my blessings also that you have a brand new car. It could be a sedan, it could be a mid-range SUV. And Allianz Insurance is saying to us this afternoon that
This Shaka origin story, a homegrown TV series, 6 years in the making and a multi-million rand production, is also a loud battle cry from South Africa's begonnen TV and film industry to the global TV business, producers and studios. The brand manager for DSTV GoTV, Linda Entry, gave the opening speech on behalf of the managing director for MultiChoice Ghana, Alex Ochre.
History has taught us that occasionally we need to look back at those who came before us to learn from their journey, and most importantly, know and understand our roots and what makes us who we are. As we celebrate our 30th year of operations in Ghana, we thank our customers and partners for their continued partnership and trust in MultiChoice Ghana's mission to deliver the best local and international content. And so tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to have you all here with us at the premiere of Shaka Ilembe, an epic story that captures a grand and dramatic history, a story of kings, queens, prophets, warriors, and schemers. The 12-part series follows the story of the legendary African monarch and military strategist, King Shaka. While the series is an entertainment title and a fictional interpretation of historical events, the producers have taken care to ensure that Nguni culture is authentically portrayed and respected.
The hostess of the premiere, who also is the South African High Commissioner to Ghana, Her Excellency Grace Jeanette Mason, says the cinematic blockbuster demystifies the myth about Africa.
This is truly, and I thank MultiChoice for the initiative to collaborate with us and to choose especially this occasion for us to showcase our history, culture, and who we are, that as Africans, the Ubuntu that is African, that we are because you are. And that's fundamentally what we are when we talk about our Africanism. And Minister, when we had a briefing earlier, you said something very important, that if azokwazi ukuthi ubani, you will never know ukuthi uyaphi. If you do not know who you are, you will never know where you are going. Understand our history, who we are as a nation, where we come from, and where we are journeying to. And that our histories and cultures as Africans are inextricably linked.
The Minister of Gender, Youth and Persons with Disability at the Presidency of South Africa, who also was a special guest for the premiering, Dr. Nkosazana Clarice Dlamini Zuma, also delivered a speech to the invitees, which encourages them to be true Africans.
I want to quote someone who said, if you want to control people, you must then make them ashamed of their history and culture. Then once you have done that, you need no prison, no chains. The work is done. So if we are not proud of our history and our culture, we will get nowhere, because we won't know who we are, where we come from, and where we should be going.
The event, held at the residence of the High Commissioner to Ghana, Grace Janet Mason, was graced by the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abu-Jinapor, the Minister of Gender, Youth and Persons with Disabilities at the Presidency of South Africa, members of the Diplomatic Corps, and other reputable individuals.
Now that's all we have for you on today's edition of Diplomatic Affairs, and thank you so much for staying with us. My name is Tani Kobalapo, and see you same time next week.